In the future, I think teachers will use this film to say, see, you definitely need math, because math will save you from the monsters. And welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original movie, A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. So this film was directed by Rachel Talalay, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and she has a cornucopia of TV series and movies that she's directed, mostly TV series, but way back when she directed The Final Nightmare of Freddy, and also Tank Girl, which is one of my favorite films. And then she's done a cornucopia of TV episodes ranging from The Flash to Riverdale, so she knows the world of directing. So this for me was going to be an interesting one, see how she tackled these, I believed, much loved books. There are 3 of them, and so Netflix have now taken the adventures of the first book, I believe, and put it into a TV family movie that's set during the Halloween time. It's all about this babysitter, this young girl who has to babysit a child, and a monster kidnaps her person that she's meant to be looking after, and what ensues is the adventures of her trying to get back the child from these monsters. Booyah. For me, the standout is Tom Felton, who obviously you might know as Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter movies, and he plays the Grand Guignol, and I like the way he played his character. Very over the top, very supernatural, very quirky, almost musical, almost theatre-like. What's up, Rhode Island? There were moments to his characteristics that I thought were very entertaining. So when we get him on screen, I thought he was a lot of fun to see what he had done with the character.
You and I are about to unleash your nightmares on the world.
I do feel like, however, that this film is going to split audiences. I think if you're watching this as a family with very young ones, probably about 12 years old, 10 years old, then they might find this film really enjoyable because it's very cheesy, it's very cringy. There's a lot of moments that make me go, oh, there's that classic moment right at the beginning of the film where the girl sees the guy that she likes and everything goes into slow-mo. It's that sort of cringy dialogue as well that we have in this film. There's a lot of things that the characters do that you kind of have to just put to a side that you just don't believe would happen. There's moments in this film that took me by surprise, like that's not possible. She ties a bit of her jumper to a fence and uses that as a guide in case she gets lost, and that just magically unravels her jumper. She just happened to be wearing a jumper. There's things like that scattered throughout the film that really bugged me because I just couldn't quite suspend my disbelief. And I guess that's if you're going in as an adult and you recognize that the film is not your demographic, then if you manage to put your critique, even if you're not a critique or a film reviewer, if you manage to put your kind of adult tendencies of what makes a great film aside and realize that the demographic for this is family orientated, for a younger generation, and it's the sort of Halloween film TV movie that you get, then you might find some enjoyment of this. I'm also wondering about fans of the book, whether they would appreciate this film, because I know there's a lot in this film that they've missed out, or there's a lot in the books that they haven't put in. And when you're watching the film, you really get the sense that there's a lot that you're missing out on. It feels like they've kind of just thrust you in this world. There's some exposition dumping sometimes, and even that exposition dumping doesn't seem to allow you to catch up with what this world is, what's the rules and regulations, what are the magic users. There seems to be all sorts of monsters in this world. So the rules are all sorts of monsters live, but you don't really know what the rules are to engage with them. And so there's this book, this babysitting guide book that you're meant to learn. And so there's this fish out of water babysitter, which I think is a nice bit of the storyline when you kind of are with her, because you want to help her, you want her to figure out to rescue the kid, and that's kind of the whole story. And she gets thrust into this magical world. We've seen this type of story done a million times. And then you have the evil lair and the good lair, and there's bits of technology with the one techie geek kid that knows all the techie geek and hack into your phones, and the one geek that can do all the science stuff. And then we have our protagonist who basically should be the math hero, that basically math can save the day.
Liz LaRue, babysitter.
There is definitely fun to be had here with this film. There are moments that I found myself laughing, which I wasn't expecting. There are moments I thought, well, this is still a PG, but creepier than I was expecting it to. There are moments with the dialogue with the characters that I thought, okay, that really worked. They had some presence together on screen. But for every part that I enjoyed, there's also a part that's really cringy, that I didn't believe in the characters, that what they were doing, I didn't believe could happen. The CG that took me out of it, the score that is okay, but mixed in with the soundtrack that just seems like a Disney movie that, and I feel like Disney movies get a bad rap, but you know the Disney TV movies I'm talking about. You can tell what they are. You probably don't even need to switch the screen on. You could just listen to the audio and you know you're watching a Disney TV movie. That is the sound effects that's in this. So the score itself seems to be okay, but mixed in with this the TV movie sound effects really kind of, it feels like two scores almost. One's a feature film that you could watch at the cinema, another is a TV movie, and they kind of like bash heads occasionally, and that's a personal choice, that's a personal thing. That's just what stood out to me. There are other moments that really stood out for me. The little techie geek lady that was in charge of, tracking down the monsters. It's one bit where she's swirling her finger around on the screen and you can see what's on the screen, and there was no reason for her to be doing that. It didn't do anything on the screen. There were just a whole bunch of numbers, and her doing that didn't actually do anything. And so there are moments like that that really stand out to me that goes, oh, what is happening here? This is not great. And then there are other moments like, I'm really enjoying this. I really wish it reached the heights of like the Goosebumps movie with Jack Black. I thought that was a lot of fun.
What are you doing? Get me out! No! Keep going!
And I was hoping for more like that. I'm not saying that you won't enjoy it, but I do think it's a family movie that you watch together, that you kind of forget about. I'm hoping that if they do sequels, that for the books 2 and 3, that it will be a bit more serious. Kind of have the balance for the really young kids and the adults that will obviously watch this, the family movie, because you can do it. We've seen it time and time again. Back in the 90s we had films like Arachnophobia, Hocus Pocus. We have all of those mixtures of genres and mixture of demographics that can reach all age groups. I do think there is fun here to be had, but I also think some people might turn it off. So I'm going to give this down the line. I'm going to give it a C. Let me know what you thought about this film. Who did you think stood out? I thought Malfoy, the actor, obviously, Felton, I think. I thought he was great. I loved his characteristics in this. I think the acting for the most part was fun. There were cheesy dialogue lines, but I think the directing of the film was quite good. I liked the shots. I liked the cinematography. That all felt fine to me. I thought that was enjoyable. The only part of the film that really took me out with it was some of the CG with the monsters, and that's only part of the time. So I guess I'm being very picky, but sometimes certain things stand out to me in the film and I can't stand here and not give my honest opinion. So I hope that's okay. I hope you find some enjoyment of this if you decided to watch it, but for me, I don't know that it'll be a film that I'll watch anytime soon again. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.